Howdy nerds, Jasmine and Brandon here with your comic book news and reviews.
Boy, do we have news on reviews.
So one of the next DC animated features, which we're all fans of here at Nerdlocker, they're always awesome, but this one looks like it's actually going to be the pinnacle out of all of them, the greatest so far. Justice League Doom. It's based off the Mark Waid story Tower of Babel, which is really sweet story. But the cast has just been announced, and
it's amazing!
Kevin Conroy is Batman. Tim Daly is Superman. So we got the two original from the original cartoons, the 90s ones, I should say. And it looks like it's an all-star cast from the Justice League Unlimited series. So we got Michael Rosenbaum coming back as Flash. Nathan Fillion is doing Green Lantern. Which he just did the Emerald Knights.
Which was great.
Sweet. Yeah, it was really good. Susan Eisenberg is coming back as Wonder Woman, which she did it in the last two Justice League ones.
She's
Superman, Batman.
pretty solid Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she's pretty solid. She's good. She's good. We're good on that one. Yeah. And then Carl Lumbly is coming back for Martian Manhunter, and I think it's a new guy doing Cyborg. It's
Bumper Robinson?
Bumper Robinson. I'm thinking Booster Gold. Whatever.
If they wanted to throw Booster Gold in, I'd be fine with that too.
All right.
The only characters we are missing though are Plastic Man and Aquaman. There's no announcement if they're going to actually be in this story, and if they're not, that's fine. However, I would love to see a Plastic Man.
Yeah, so, I would love to see Aquaman, especially after the last Justice League Crisis on Two Earths, where he was a badass. Dude, he punched the crap out of everyone. It was so sweet. So sweet. He held himself against the Shazam family.
I know. All I'm saying is that I could do without him.
Whatevs.
And that this is going to be an awesome animated.
Okay, whatevs. I just need to block that Aquaman negativity, but whatevs.
Aquaman.
Anyways, let us know what you guys think. Is this really an all-star studded cast, and how could they improve it, if they can? Let us know, guys.
So Brandon, if you go to digitaldarkhorse.com, you can get free comics.
Oh yeah?
Yes, specifically
like what?
The Thing, which is a prequel to the Thing movie that's coming out.
That is really cool.
That sounds awesome, does it not?
And first of all, it's awesome because it's free.
It is indeed.
Secondly, I think that's a cool way to get people in to see the movie who maybe didn't want to see the movie. Give you a little bit of history. I'm assuming if it's a prequel to the movie, it's probably mostly about the monster, the Thing.
The Northman?
Yes. But yeah, I think this is awesome. As well as being available on digitaldarkhorse.com, it is also going to be available on the Dark Horse app, which you can get if you have an Android or an iPhone or any, smartphones, which I happen to have, so.
And me too.
This spells nothing but convenience for me.
And ease.
Yep. So let us know if you guys pick it up, and let us know what you thought in the comments below.
Hey guys, it's Cubby here with Nerdlocker. I'm here with my comic reviews. My first book this week, Secret Avengers number 17, written by Warren Ellis, drawn by Kev Walker. Holy crap, this book has been awesome. I jumped on Secret Avengers when it first started. I've missed a couple issues here or there, a big chunk of it, but crap, this book is kicking butt big time. It's moving to like single issue, big action-packed stories, very quick, very concise. The art was really cool. It was very interesting. It kind of reminded me of Mike Mignola, a little more colorful, not as shadowy, but it's same kind of like blocky faces, things like that. It was really interesting. It was really good. It fit the story. I love the team. Captain America as Steve Rogers, super soldier, not as Captain America. Then it's also Sharon Carter, his girlfriend, and War Machine and Valkyrie. So it's a really well-rounded team. The mythical, the technology-based, the pure badass, and Sharon Carter being the cool super spy. I'm excited where it's going. It's not really leading to anywhere. It's just fun, action-packed stories. I have to give this book 4 skulls out of 5. All right, guys, my second book this week is Skull Kickers number 11. This was a very interesting book. It's an image book. This is the first issue I've read, and it's actually the last issue of 2 story arcs. So I have no idea what was going on in this in anything. But it's actually a really fun story about 2 mercenaries kind of going through this world. There's pirates, there's dragons, there's fairies, there's all these kinds of fun things. One's a dwarf, one's a giant dude, giant human dude that's awesome and powerful. There's guns and stuff, and not like high-tech guns like old school 6-shooters and things like that. So it has a very interesting feel. The magic, the fairies, all that thing is really cool. The way that it mixes up. The art's very cartoony, and it actually has really cool sound effects. Not in the traditional foosh or things like that, but it's like what was one of the ones that's just stand out? It kind of tells you what's going on, like a giant 2-page splash page where it says property, damage, and an entire block gets destroyed by this giant plant, which is really, really fun. You can't really take this book too seriously. I mean, it's a serious comic. It's not a serious comic book, so you shouldn't. It's just a fun, action-packed story. I got to give it 3.5 nerd skulls, but I would have given it more if I knew what was going on. So check it out, guys.
Hey guys, Brandon here with a comic review for you. I got Hack Slash, number 8. Recently, I've actually been able to go back and start reading this comic in big, fat trades from the beginning, and I have to say, I enjoy this a lot. It's about a girl who goes out and kills slashers with her sidekick who she thought was a slasher at first, and now they just go around and take down evil. This one wasn't exactly a slasher, it was kind of aliens, but I still really enjoy the sci-fi and horror overtones of these books. I think that's really cool, and it's consistent. I mean, can't argue with that. I am going to give this 3.5 out of 5 nerd skulls. I'm definitely going to be looking forward to the other issues, and you guys should pick this up if you haven't read it yet. Hack Slash. My second review for you this week is Bendis and Begley's Brilliant. Pretty good book, actually. I was a little skeptical on it just because I haven't been a huge fan of Bendis' stuff in the last couple years. I just personal thing, he's a great writer. I just haven't been on board with a lot of it. This is kind of cool. Group of college kids, looks like someone's coming back to the group, all that kind of stuff, and they've basically invented superpowers. That's kind of where they leave it at, so definite big cliffhanger to get you read issue 2, and it worked. I'll be reading issue 2. I'm going to give this 4 out of 5 nerd skulls.
So my comic book reviews for you this week, starting out with Artifact number 10. I'd actually read Artifact number 9 as a review, and so it was pretty cool to be able to do the next one since I already had an idea of what was going on. Art was really good, continues the storyline. My only issue is it feels so rushed. They're exploring the underground city. It's like this massive city, it's really cool, and it just has 2 scenes of them exploring it. Or actually 3, I should say. Them getting there, them walking on a bridge, and them getting to their destination. It's like, this is such an epic city. I want to see them explore it. I want to see them react to it. And there's nothing. And so it was very disappointing with that, but it still developed a story in a cool way. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. Next up is Epoch number 2. I had reviewed the first one, and that one, there was so little to it. It seemed like such a small preview that I was a little disappointed, but they delivered in the second one. It gave a lot of story, a lot of explanation of the mystical side, and it was just really cool, the different explanations, because it gives little guides of how each different mystical creature, like the werewolves, the vampires, their role in a real life society, like how one rules kind of the gang side, one is kind of more like the mob side. And it was just really cool, really well done. I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 skulls.
Hey there, nerds. Jasmine here with my comic reviews. The first one is a book that randomly got sent to the Nerdlocker Studios called Moon Girl. What an interesting book. It almost looked like it was a video game. Like the graphics were not art, but graphics. And it was pretty cool to sort of look through and read, and it's a little risque, and it's got a really cool story. Being that I haven't read the first 4 issues, I can't give you any like solid storyline about it. However, it's pretty cool. You should check it out. I'm sure you can download it online or just probably find it at a local comic shop. However, while I liked it to an extent, it was still sort of not a traditional comic book to me because the art was sort of virtual as opposed to being drawn and or written. So if you like that kind of art, which I know a lot of people do, I would say check it out definitely. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 nerd skulls. Pretty interesting read. My next book is Green Lantern New Guardians number 1. Now, I wasn't really excited. That wasn't one of my books that I was like hard-pressed to read, but I decided to give it a try, and I'm really glad I did because it was a really good story. And if you haven't read any of the stuff that's been happening with Green Lantern, being that it's still inside continuity, you're totally okay, and I have them sitting in a dusty corner somewhere. So pick this book up. It's really good. The ending will blow you away. Kyle Rayner gets thrown into like crazy situation after crazy situation after crazy situation, and he makes a great Green Lantern. And at the end of the book, you sort of wonder if he would make a great everything else. So let me know what you thought. I really liked it. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 nerd skulls. My last book is The Flash number 1, which I was so extremely excited to read, and it sort of fell short a little bit. I think a lot of the flagship characters have been hit or miss with DC in their new 52. Specifically with Flash, I love the art. Francis Manapul has been drawing it and sort of writing it at the same time, and he does a great job. It's well written. and it's well drawn, but it's your basic Flash story. It's pretty much taking all the bad things that happened to Barry Allen for about 20 years or so and just starting over, which is pretty cool to an extent because who doesn't love a good Flash comic, which I love a good Flash comic. It just wasn't groundbreaking. I didn't put the book down and go, oh my gosh, it's just kind of a book. It's Barry's life, which is sort of melancholy. So I loved it for my own nostalgia goggles for Barry Allen. Kind of a quiet book, though. I'll give it 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
Hey guys, Bobby here with my comic reviews for the week, and my first one is going to be Ultimate Spider-Man #2, written by Brian Michael Bendis. I talked about the first one last month, and I loved it. It was incredible, and the story continues with this book. It continues to be an origin story, and that's why I love it so much. It talks about how he got his powers, and he assumes he's a mutant. And I really like that because it ties so closely in with Ultimate X-Men that's going on right now. After Ultimatum, which was a few years ago, and Magneto basically killing all of New York, mutants have been outlawed, and they're being chased down and being held in concentration camps. So it's especially terrifying for Miles Morales, the new Spider-Man, to associate himself with being a mutant. It's a very good book, so much so that I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. My second comic review for the week is going to be I, Vampire, written by Joshua Hale Fialkove. I am a huge fan of Joshua Hale Fialkove per his books like Echoes and Elk's Run and other things like that. I was very excited going into this book because well, I've had my fill of vampire stories, but with him, I think that this could be something different. I actually liked it a little, not as much as I would have liked, but it's kind of a Blade storyline for DC. DC's basically trying to copy Blade's story where a vampire tries to take down all other vampires when they try and take over the world. The art's very interesting, and if you've read my interview with Joshua on our website, nerdlocker.com, you would know that, yeah, he's a little bit weird with how he has his books drawn, and this book is no exception. It's really good. I recommend it, but give it an extra read. Read it a second time, and I promise you'll like it the second time. I give this book 3 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. My third and final review for the week is going to be Aquaman #1, written by Jeff Johns. This is my favorite so far in the DC 52, and I keep on saying that because each week it gets better and better, but Aquaman this week kind of makes fun of itself. Aquaman has always been a character that everyone makes fun of and hates and thinks is the weakest character in DC, and Jeff Johns took that as a challenge. He decided, well, if you don't think he's a good character, I'm going to make him a good character, and in this book he definitely does it. It's more about his internal fight with himself about if he's going to be an Atlantean or an Earthman. I recommend this book highly. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys, that is all our comic book news and reviews this week. But until next week, be sure to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube page, as well as checking out nerdlocker.com for all your comic book news.
And while you're at it, be sure to check out Maximum Comics, and if you're in the Las Vegas area, they have 2 convenient locations, so be sure to check them out.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Jasmine.
And we'll see you next week for more comic news and reviews.